Restoration of a classic Ford is a journey of discovery. Let Autocrafters help you with yours. We offer quality parts for Falcon, Fairlane, F-Series, Galaxie, Maverick, and Pinto. Contact us today. All right, what I've done is I've kind of stepped away from this for a day and come back to it to look at it again with some fresh eyes. What I decided was this, that since this panel is really sketchy in through here, I don't know that I want to try to separate this piece from this piece, mostly because it's going to be real hard to find the spot welds on the back side of it. Usually when they spot them, there's one side that's really obvious, like there's an obvious one here, and then it starts to get real sketchy because where they've put them together, there's a lot of rust particulate and rust scale in here. I'm scared if I go in and start doing anything else to this, I'm going to end up with a panel I might as well just go ahead and completely replace. And I know what a lot of you guys are probably thinking, why don't I just go ahead and replace the panel? Well, for simple facts, I wanted to do it this way because there's a lot of stuff that you just can't get out there in the market. You can get a full floor pan, but as I've said before, you cannot get just a patch that's got all these correct contours in it. I wish that the guys that are making these full floor pans would go in and do, patch sections, but they're not. They're just selling the full floor pan, so that's what you got to do. Perhaps you could go and find a friend who needs the other side, but typically if you need one side, you're probably going to need both. And a lot of times you don't need the entire floor pan, you just need a section. Last thing I'm going to say about that is this. It is a car that I am not particularly concerned about it being dead nuts perfect, okay? I want it to be all right, not great. That being said, I've rethunk, I think, what I want to do with this. I'm going to pull this out of here. I've got one of my little panel clamps that I got from the guys at Harbor Freight. Now, I never throw the old sheet metal away until I'm completely done with the job because you never know when it could come in handy. This is our old section, as you've seen me cut out just a minute ago. And this is our new patch that I've made. Now, here's the rub. It's not quite exactly the same. But what I wanted to do is to mark it up so that I know kind of where to cut. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually not going to cut it directly to this line. I'm going to come to the side of my markup line, outside of it just a hair, so that I've got some wiggle room. If I want, I can then go back in and recut this. But as I see it right now, if I place this in here, that line, if I go to just the other side of the white line, I should be pretty copacetic for position. And I'm going to probably do that, go ahead and get that done right now. I'm going to go ahead and cut this piece apart, because what I want to do is, now that I've rethought it, go in and actually weld to this line around here so that I maintain that original appearance of that edge. Plus, I don't have to worry about jacking up anything else with the new panel. And all this stuff right here will then go away, won't be a problem. And I'll just, unfortunately, I'm not big on butt welding, but I'm going to have to butt weld this into place. There is going to be a ton of fit and fiddle here. This is not going to happen in 3 seconds. Now I'm using a draw knife so I don't cut my fingers up trying to work this panel and make sure it's going to fit okay. Because there's a lot of sharp edges here still. It's a little more gentle here. All right, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put in a couple of tacks. Try and see if I can get a set point. There we go. Ever tried welding left-handed when you're right-handed? 1 star, would not recommend. That's pretty bad. But, you know, my record for welding is not great anyway. What's got going on here is, where they put this panel together, right here, there's actually a crimp dent from the spot right there. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a weld temporarily right there. There. A bit of a blow in on that one. Now this is not what I would recommend normally doing in a case like this. I would not call this the Robert McCartney method of welding. A little hole in it. Not going to be that unusual on this old metal. Probably just a little too hot for this activity. I may have to work some of this other stuff in the back top back here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it to go around or not. Yeah, I got a pretty major issue at the other end of this over here. What's going on is as I'm pulling this in over on this side, I'm growing a gap over here. It does happen, especially if you're not a professional. And honestly, even if you are a professional, I think it happens sometimes. They just don't tell you about it. Because I've got a gap developing here that's pretty substantial. And I may just go in and back this thing and be done with it. Build this corner. Screw it, we're going to roll with it. I may have to redo a whole section over here though. This right here is what I was going for, is the way this looks. That's going to be an easy grind out. And on this kind of panel, I'm not that worried about what it looks like. All this down here is just going to be a lot more work for me to have to do. I can zippity-doo-dah right through that pretty quick and not have a problem. Now I'm just going to go around and probably to that corner right there. Right to that corner. And it's just going to be welding from here on out, folks. Ooh, that's bad. I have to make it up over here. Piece. Well, it's like they always say, some people are welders, some people are grinders. I'm a grinder. This didn't turn out as badly as it could have. Having had this little piece of metal here on an old floor pan that we did in the previous project really kind of pulled it together for me. There are some things that I would probably do a lot differently than what I did here, but the welds weren't too bad. I had a couple places where the welder was just not acting right. I don't know whether it was contamination on the metal, because I really can't do a whole lot about this stuff over here, or if it's just operator error. I'm not going to blame the machine until I know it's not me. And so far, it could be a toss-up as to which one of them is the worst. All right, folks, do me a favor. Go ahead and check out the Patreon account. At the $10 a month level, you get monthly meetings with me. But more importantly, if I have done anything to aid you in finishing your car, starting your car, or doing any of those things, why don't you drop a couple of bucks down into the Patreon account once a month. And you're not helping me, you're helping the guys behind the camera, because Andrew is now a part-time employee here, so I am using that money to pay him, and thereby teach him the economics of, if you ain't got the money, you don't make the money. This is not a governmental thing. I'm not going to go into which side we're talking about. However, do that for me, please. Names that have been going up beside me already, those are the folks who put their money where their mouth is. Thank you guys for supporting us on a monthly. They are the bomb. Now I'm going to talk about subscriptions, because quite frankly, we are at 95,500 as of today. Not that I am counting, but I am. As soon as we get to 100,000 subscribers, like let's just say 110,000 subscribers, I'm going to stop talking about it for a little while. We'll put the little button up that says to subscribe. Bada bing, bada boom, we'll be out. You won't have to put up this crap anymore. So if you don't want to hear this, subscribe. If you know another channel that does what we do and wants to have you help us out, bigger channels, flood people in here, get us over the top before Christmas, I beseech thee. Finally, folks, be kind to each other, treat each other nice, love on each other. You guys have a great week, and we'll see you on down the road. Okay, after we're done, I'm going to tell you right now, don't do what I did on the big wide gap. It's going to look like crap, but it is welded in, and it is actually probably one of my better patches. Not saying it's a great patch, just one of my better ones.